Hello everyone, this is the T.E.A.Cast, again, because I can, so eat it. And this T.E.A.Cast is going to be about stall teams, to be in particular OU stall teams. And I'm doing this because, well, it's my T.E.A.Cast, I can do whatever I want. And so, I'm going to be discussing OU stall. So, for those who don't know, which is probably like 5% of you, OU stall, in particular, is a type of competitive gameplay that involves wearing down your opponent using either status or entry hazards or both. And basically stall teams are made up of about 6 walls, and then consist of a lot of different parts such as spin blockers, hazard setters, possibly toxicers, phasers, walls, more walls, and most likely witchers and extremely bulky walls, and I'm saying walls too much on that. So this video is basically dedicated into a mediocre average analysis of OU stall teams. So you might be, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. So OU stall teams in particular are very potent because there are so many varieties of habit setters and phasers in there, and I'll get to that soon. Actually, next slide. So, yeah. Hello, it's T.E.A.Cast again, and here this first section is going to be about phasers. And phasers are Pokemon with moves like Roar and Dragon Tail to force Pokemon out. And I specifically picked Empoleon for this one because Empoleon is a very good UU phaser, not an OU phaser specifically, but it's a very good UU phaser. And the thing is, I like Empoleon because it's one of my favorite Pokemon, so I have it here. And Empoleon can actually get a little more use, but it's fine in UU as it is. So, phasers, I explained, are Pokemon that can phase Pokemon out. And they're normally very bulky walls that can take many hits, and normally either substitutes or can roost. An example of this would be the standard Dragon Tail Dragonite set, mostly used on rain teams that I've seen. So it wields Thunder Wave, Dragon Tail, Roost, and Substitute. And it can substitute to get its T-Wave thing, then it subs to block their hits, and then it starts Dragon Tailing and Roosting from there. That thing would be a serious pain in the butt to your opponent and to you, but actually taking care of it is actually pretty hard, unless you have an Ice and Ground type, which I don't think exists. Correct me if I'm wrong, but taking in that thing will be an extreme pain. So, especially when it has multi-scale, has a sub-up with multi-scale, which would involve setting a sub-up and having your opponent not break your sub and then roosting, which would be extremely painful. And so you'll have to watch out for those. Another example of a good phaser, I'm thinking along the lines of Heatran, because Heatran is one of the bulkiest Pokemon in OU, and can phase quite a few things along with 106 base defenses. So yeah, that's 2 good OU phasers to consider. Next we have hazard setters. And hazard setters are Pokemon that set up hazards, to be plain. And hazard setters and certain hazard setters can set up Stealth Rocks, Spikes, and Toxic Spikes. Those are the 3 types of hazards. Now, Stealth Rocks is the newest type of hazards brought here in 4th Gen, and it completely revitalized the metagame. Because Stealth Rocks hits every Pokemon in the game, depending on their weakness to rock. Which kind of makes sense why Charizard's in NU now. Because Charizard is hit with fire and flying are weak to Stealth Rock, so therefore it takes 50% damage. Now, Stealth Rock goes in accordance to a Pokemon's weakness to rock. I've probably said this before, but still. So let's say a Steel set switches in, like Lucario. Because Steel resists rock, it takes about 6.25% damage. Now, if it's on a normal type that is neutral to rock, it takes 12.25. If it's in a flying type like, say, Pidgeot, it's going to take about 25% damage, and if it's in a Volcarona, it's going to take 50% damage. And so, Stealth Rocks is the most commonly used type of Entry hazard and spikes is the one where salting is the most censored about, because it hits every Pokemon. Because spikes hit every Pokemon that's not levitating or flying, with a maximum anywhere between 12.25 to 25% damage, and it's the most used type of entry hazard because it's going to inflict so much damage. That's not dependent on type. And toxic spikes is the last type of entry hazard that's mostly used for semi-stall teams, because you can set up 2 layers of toxic spikes. One of them just normally poison the opponent, which deals about 12.25% damage, not including leftovers. But setting up 2 layers of toxic spikes might be better, especially if you have some walls like Magma Storm, Heatran that can trap opponents and then engage in a serious stall war with them. So toxic spikes is more useful for semi-stall teams than stall teams. So keep out for that. Also, you can only set up Silphox once, but you can set up 3 layers of spikes and 2 layers of Silphox. Alright, that's it for hazards. The next thing I'll be talking about are spinners. And spinners are Pokemon that can learn rapid spin and spin away all the hazards the stall team has set up. And this is extremely dangerous because it can spin away all the work the stall team has, and therefore render it somewhat useless without the team with its wall. And especially when some of your hazard setters are out, it means you can't set up the hazards again once they're spun away. So it's extremely important to watch out and keep counters for certain rapid spinners like Tentacruel and Fortress, especially Tentacruel and Rain, which is very dangerous. So watch out for the spinners and make sure to have counters for them. Fortress and Tentacruel are the most common. Make sure to keep Pokemon like Heatran and maybe Celebi to take care of them effectively. So yeah, watch out for those. And the final main component of stall teams is spin blockers. And spin blockers are basically just ghost types, literally, because ghost types are immune to rapid spin. And this is extremely useful. So the 2 best spin blockers in OU, and actually the only ones I believe, are Gengar and Jellicent. And Jellicent works a lot better on stall teams because it goes very well with Ferrothorn, and can also work as a bulky water, which there are actually a lot of, basically. And so many of these spinners have somewhat lackluster defenses, disabling Gengar, which have terrible defense, to be perfectly honest. And Gengar is more of like a semi-stall spin blocker, not a very defensive spin blocker. So it's advised to use Jellicent if you already have a bulky water like Vaporeon. And so spin blockers are a very important component because they can save all the work you've done. But spin blocking is very easily predicted, and you have to watch out for the spinners that can take out the Pokemon, which actually none of the spinners I know can take on Jellicent, so just in case. Oh, Donphin. Donphin is also a spinner that should have gone the last one. But you have to watch out for Donphin and try to take that thing out early, so it can't take out Jellicent and spin away all your hazards. So watch out for that. Alright, that was the T.E.A.Cast for today. So thank you all for watching, rate, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow at my live stream, which will be going on somewhere between 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock. So watch out for that, and see y'all later.